Hi everyone. For the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to be talking about Amdram. Well, you're probably thinking what that is. Funny story. That was when I did the Shakespeare, and I was a sheep. That was inspired. We did the Shakespeare last year at the Holywell Gardens, which I did with a group called Eccles, and we were inspired by the sheep scene that they had over there. The show was called As You the Kids, and we saw the chorus coming up onto the stage, that they were walking on all fours, and we were thinking, what are they doing? You know, they just seem to be walking around on all fours, barring. And then I thought, they're sheep. And we watched that, and we thought, we have got to steal that for our show, which we did in the summer of last year at the Holywell Gardens. You know when a mummy sheep and a daddy sheep? It was that. All of these pictures are of me from all of the shows that I've done over the past, I'm trying to think now, what was it? 8 years. I've been involved in Amdram from the age of 17, so I've been doing it since 2009. And the first group that I joined was the Atonians. I saw one of their Christmas shows at the Congress, and it was when I watched one of their shows that I was just taken away by it. And so I went and auditioned for the chorus in the first show that I did, which was Just So, that was in their kids group. And I got in, and I ended up doing all these shows with them. And it was whilst I was with the group for about 3 years, and it got to a point where I started to outgrow the group. I felt like I was ready to move on at that point, so I went from doing all singing, all dancing shows, but my tap dancing was sort of okay, but I was always put at the back of the chorus. That was how good my dancing was. So, but nowadays, because I do more plays, more straight acting, I think that's probably what I'm more better at. As much fun as I had doing all of those shows with that group, it's always nice to do stuff that I really do love, and Eons, they really are the best group, because they have there's always there is always a different team for every show that they do, and which is why I always stay on. I think it's the longest that I've ever been with any group. So I've been involved with them for 4 years now. From when I first did Sweeney Todd, which is where these pictures came from, and I've stuck with them since then. And well, what I'm going to talk about is how a show is put together. It varies from group to group, but ideally it takes about 3 months. I know some groups, they take about 6 months, and which I think is quite a commitment because it's half a year. And I mean, I don't want to mention any names of the groups, but I do know one group. They're currently doing a show, and they've been doing it for 6 months. And so I thought, wow, that is quite a commitment right there. So yeah, it varies from group to group, and it starts off with the familiarization meetings. So they would meet the director. The director makes the pitch, and whoever's interested, they audition. They fill out what's known as the audition form, and they write down the names of all of the characters who they want to play, and then the auditions come along after many days of learning their lines, and of course they then get cast, and so sometimes they have what's known as callbacks, which is when they haven't yet decided on who is right for the part. So they audition for this part again until they whittle it down to one person, or two if they were successful and they couldn't decide on who they want to cast, so they would cast 2 people. And that picture that you saw back there, I was Charlie Chaplin, and that was in Singing in the Rain. That walk was hard. I was only on stage for 5 seconds, and I remember Mark Adams, who directed Singing in the Rain, which is where that picture came from, and I was thinking at that time, he was showing me the walk, and he was like, "It's so easy," and I was just thinking, I'm trying my hardest here, and I was only on for 5 seconds, so it's like it got to a point where I thought he was just being really, really picky, and notes. It was always, it has to be done like this. It has to be, so it's kind of like. And I was just looking at him thinking, well, that's what I just did. Well, what? And then a few others said, it has to be done like this, and sorry. And I was thinking, but I did. Anyway, when we got to the tech dress rehearsal, I did what I did, and Mark, there were no notes after that. Let's put it that way. Anyway. I think I've already said this. They take the rehearsal period takes about 3 months approximately, sometimes longer. I've already said that in the last slide. The schedule kind of depends on cast availability. Sometimes, you don't always know everybody's commitments. So the schedule would always be based around who's available on those days, who's not available. But the one thing that's always important when doing a show is that you have to be there for most of these rehearsals, because otherwise, if you're not committed, then why even be there? So another thing is energy, passion. I'm quite an energetic person anyway. On the outside, I'm quite quiet, but inside, I'm just buzzing. Up here, I'm just like away. I always like to put all of my energy out on stage because I am a show-off. And then the other thing is, you have to have a good memory for learning lines, and I've got quite a good memory. But even when there were times on stage where I did fluff up my lines. But I think it was when I was doing the Shakespeare, and there was one scene where I was confronting the Duke, and my mind just went blank. So I just thought, so I just kept repeating the first part of what I said until it came back to me. I thought, it'll come. Yeah, it's come. There was one time when I was doing the Christmas play at Prince's Playhouse. I was involved in the Christmas play. It was Gawain and the Green Knight, and I see some of the cast are here this evening. I won't say who, but it doesn't involve any of them, by the way. So, but there was this guy on stage. He clearly didn't have much experience in shows, and there was one section where he couldn't remember the lines in a certain part of the second half. I don't know why, but he didn't. And so he went on. When it came to his lines, he was like, "Oh, me? What do I say? The next day." So he had lines. Like the next day, the next morning, and he kept saying them in the wrong order, or he would enter them at the most random moments. Like even when the main character, Gawain, there was a scene involving him and a cougar. And it was one of those shows, and he was getting kissed quite a lot, and he was going no, and then the guy who I just said, the guy who I was talking about, he went the next day. We just said at the most random moment. it was just like, oh, keep it in, keep it in, keep it together, keep it together, keep it in, keep it in, keep it in. You know, it was like that. Yeah. That picture was actually taken a few weeks ago. That was taken at a murder mystery event. I played a character called Dr. Philip Bones, who was a James Bond type character. All of the characters were actually named after characters from Star Trek. So Bones, Spock. Actually, one of the characters was called Dr. Spock. So I think she'd been watching Star Trek when she first came up with those characters. I don't know what I was doing there, but I was shocked. Actually, we both had our scripts, by the way, because it was a murder mystery evening. So we only just read the scripts on the day, and we just read them. So we were having all these scripts. We didn't even learn them. So we just read them, and we were just like, you know, looking down, up, down, up, down, up. You know, it's like, you know, it was like that. So there was a lot of down, up, side, down, up. So yeah. Why I enjoy it? Well, like I said, the ability to get up and show off, to express myself by playing a character who I wouldn't normally associate myself with, and believe me, none of the, well, maybe some of them, but well, actually thinking about it now, maybe I'm not that far off from one or two of them. Thinking about it. And also, it's to wear outfits that you wouldn't that you wouldn't really wear. Like, for example, my favourite part of the outfits that I wore would have to be the hats. I always love a good hat. I wore top hats and tails when I did shows with the Rats, and I wore caps, hats, any type of hats, sailor hats, and I thought, you know, when we have all these costume fittings, I always think, I wonder what hat I'll have. You know, it's always about the hat. Always about the hat. And of course, the activities as well. We always have activities, pub crawls to promote the shows, which are always a lot of fun. And we did get lost on something. So we always had to ring to say, look, we're going to be late, we're in the middle, we're in battle and we're trying to get back, we'll be back as soon as possible, just bear with us. So there's a lot of doing and throwing and trying to find the pubs to put our show posters on. And I was their male model as well. Yeah, fun days. These are all of the groups that are available in the area. The Rats I've just told you about, and the Odds. They all specialise in plays and musicals. And of course there's groups like Pocket Size and Green Room who specialise in contemporary theatre, and there's the Haven Players in Polegate who do plays and musicals, and of course there's the Gilbert and Sullivan Society, a group which I think probably speaks for itself. And finally, I had to. I've actually been involved with them for the past year. I was involved in their choir, and I was involved in their Christmas play, and it's a lot of fun. They're very warm. They're very supportive. Everybody looks out for each other, and I like that because when somebody does that, it always encourages you to do the same. I always think everybody always looks out for each other, and that's what I love. It's all about people. It's all about that. It's all about coming together, putting on a show, doing your best, and having a good time. If somebody is being a bit, full of themselves, they would bring you, or if they were feeling upset, they would always bring you right back down. And I always like that. I always admire that. They don't take themselves too seriously, is what I'm saying. I hope I got that right. Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
Fantastic. Well, thank you ever so much, Michael. The way that the Bavard works, it's like the Catholics, is if anybody has any questions, and obviously feel free to ask Michael. My only experience of amateur dramatics is I went to an all-boys school, and so I used to end up getting the part of playing the girls on stage for some reason. Very badly.
Yeah. No. That's actually happened, by the way. It was when I was doing Shakespeare 3 years ago. I was dressed up in female clothing, and I was pretending to be a female to please a homeless man.
Yeah.
There's a good reason.
Brilliant. Well, does anybody have any questions for Michael? Yes.
If you're rehearsing for 3 months, how many days a week do you have? How many days of your week is that taking up, or evenings?
About 2 or 3. Yeah. It's quite a commitment.
Yeah. So we should say 6 months is massive.
Yeah. Only one group is doing 6 months, and they're doing 1 day a week for 6 months. Whereas the groups that I've been involved with, it's normally around 2 to 3 days a week, and it's roughly 3 months. Roughly around 3 months. It's normally that period. Anything else?
Mike, I don't have a question. All I can say is the ability to show off on stage. You are clearly your father's son. Would be my only comment on that.
He even said that I'm a better actor. His words.
There's a rumour he may be joining us later, and I will remind him of that when I see him.
Brilliant. Anyone
When's your next show?
When's the next show?
Where can we see
I'm
you?
not doing any shows at the moment, but I'm actually doing spoken word down at the Underground Theatre. There are times where I would always dip in and out of shows, and one of them would be spoken word poetry, which they do at the Underground Theatre every second Wednesday of the month, which is actually next week. So if you can all come along to that. Yeah, 8 p.m. next week, Underground Theatre. That's my bit about it.
Brilliant.
Can I just make it extremely clear that I had no idea he was going to say what he did at the end? And I'm extremely
Right, well, thank you very much, Michael. That's brilliant. Michael contacted me after the first Bavard bar and also thought to do that, which is fantastic. And I learned a lot. So brilliant. We're going to take a break now.